Hey, good afternoon, folks. This is your man, Adolphus AD Moore, in a special edition of The Corner. As you know by now, David Culley is the former head coach of the Houston Texans. Last week, I know right after I did the recap after their final game against the Tennessee Titans, one of my opening comments after dealing with the guys from Western New York before we got them on, I said, does David Culley deserve a chance to come back? Yeah, I thought I still believe that. I think he was a dead man walking from the very beginning. But the fact that he was a good soldier, he stood in there, he answered and done everything that was humanly possible for him to do. Handed that deficient pot of crap that he was given, called a professional football team, and he stood there as a good soldier, and he handled himself, as far as I'm concerned, admirably. Yeah, I've seen the comments from other folks in the media and so forth. I know some was advocating for his firing, talking about he was incapable, or whatever the case might be. Well, compared to what? I mean, because when you and this is of subjective nature. When you start looking at it and start calling the gentleman incapable, he couldn't make a decision and so forth. I don't watch this Texans team since his birth, for over 20 years, and there's been some good things, there's been some bad things. But as the Texans and as an organization stand at this point in time, that they are woefully inadequate. And the thing about it, and I'm not going to use the word, was it fair the way they done David Culley? Fairness is in the eye of the beholder. I'm not going to sit up here and try to justify, what is fair, what isn't. What I will say is that here's a gentleman, here's a man. And everybody say, well, he got paid, to take those slings and arrows. Yep, you're right. He got paid to take those slings and arrows. But one of the things that has befuddled me, and to the fact that, well, he made some in-game mistakes. He made he cost us a couple of games. Well, at the beginning of the year, and I stated forthrightly, you can go back and look at the show, look at the tape. I stated that the Houston Texans, this lot as it stands, would equal the same amount of victories that they had this past season with Deshaun Watson, with J.J. Watt, and lo and behold, without Deshaun Watson, without J.J. Watt, and they equal to the task. And about 30 some different player turnover that they have turned this whole thing over, turned this organization over, and came up with roughly over half of this roster was given a bunch of 1-year contracts. Yeah, the Texans had some cap problems and so forth, but that wasn't David Culley's fault. They had some issue with some long-term contracts that was given. That wasn't David Culley's fault. David Culley, was a long-term journeyman in the National Football League. Yeah, he's never said, well, he's never been a coordinator. He's never been this. There's been a lot of things that he's never been, but he was given the opportunity to be a head coach in the National Football League. And having looked at this league and having having looked at this league and doing everything, and having just watched this particular team and watched this league, David Culley will not go down as the worst history in the National Football League. Trust me, the line is long, and he's not at the head of it. And anybody want to sit down and argue facts, apples and apples, and oranges and oranges, I'll sit there and we can go for it. We can go for it right now, tomorrow, the next day, or day after. But you can say, well, he shouldn't have got the job in the first spot. Let's face it, folks. In every position, I've been in, had a chance to be in corporate America for almost 30 plus years, and I've seen folks get jobs and positions that you sort of had to scratch your head and wonder, how did they even make it up to the elevator? How did they even know how to get? Did somebody that they had to feel sorry for them and have to guide them to the escalator just to get them up there. And yet folks will give them positions because of the birthright status or whatever the case might be. So in this essence, in this sense, David Culley had as much right to have that position as anybody else. Did he have all the quote unquote qualifications? Well, what are the quote unquote qualifications? Because when it comes down to those quote unquote qualifications, they are changing. It's a moving target. It's a moving goal. We know there's a coach right now for the Baltimore Ravens was a special teams coach, and they've been successful with him. And let's face it. Let's get back. Let's get to the point right now. I've been around long enough. I've covered this league in the National Football League long enough. I remember when Bill Belichick was the coach. I covered Bill Belichick when he was the coach for the Cleveland Browns. Okay, that's also that same coaching standard that Belichick is considered the gold standard for as professional coaches. On that same roster was Nick Saban, who is now considered the gold standard for college coaches. At covering Nick Saban, covering Bill Belichick at that time, it was almost like if you used the criteria that was used on David Culley, Bill Belichick would not be the standard, would not be the gold standard of coaches of where he is right now and having the opportunity, because he was a disaster. He did not fan well, but he had an opportunity at a young age. David Culley had to wait almost till he's set to in almost his 65 or 66 before he had the opportunity, and yet he hung around. Now you could sit there and say, well, he hadn't done anything to warrant having a position. Well, whatever the criteria is that you might want to argue about and advocate for at this point in time, okay, fine, we can have that discussion. But the thing about it, he was given an opportunity and given a shovel, and basically told to go on out there and clean out the stable. I need you to create me a racehorse. Well, you gonna run it up against thoroughbreds, and I'm gonna give you a Clydesdale, but I want you to go up against thoroughbreds, and I'm not gonna give you the best stock. I'm gonna just give you something and go see what you can make. Go see what you can make with it. Well, in the case like that, David Culley won some games that I didn't even think that the Texans would win. In fact, in my estimation, I didn't think that Culley, I didn't think that the Texans stood a chance to even of the victories that they would amass, but they won them. But the one thing I will say, and the fact that I went on the road and actually covered this team, and one of the most, and I think in my estimation, the Texans probably had about three just terrible outings. One of them was definitely in Western New York against the Buffalo Bills, and so it goes without saying, yeah, that was one of them. But I guarantee you, of the 32 teams, I guarantee every last one of them had some stinkers. So no more, no less. But I'm getting ready to bring into my man. There he is. He's smiling. Man, I had to represent, man.
Now I'm smiling because you told me that what's that boy's name? Davis Mills played bad in Buffalo because of the weather. And I was like, well, the other quarterback played in the same weather too, but you told me that he was going to be all right because of the weather. Now, I remember that. Now, am I wrong? If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
No. But he was, he came from Stanford. It gets a little colder. It gets a little chilly. It gets a little chilly in Palo Alto.
It never rains in Southern California. But go ahead. I don't
think Palo Alto is in Southern California.
It isn't. It is nowhere near.
Okay. All right. See what? Hey, AJ. One thing about it, I'm not directionally challenged now. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Jones of the Lunch Break, KY AJ, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show, boy.
Brother, I felt like I needed a shower after that press conference today. I'm
Whoa.
just being very honest. I feel lied to. I feel like that man looked us in our face and lied to the camera. And I'm not saying that he's doing anything sinister. I'm not saying that he's doing anything malicious. I'm just saying it's your organization, bro. You don't have to lie to us. This whole philosophical difference thing, just stand up, be a grown man, and say, we decided we wanted another head coach. That's all you got to do. You don't have to make it sound like the man wanted to run the wishbone or the wing tee, or he wanted to run the pistol offense and you wanted to run something different. Like, just own it, and when he said how much Culley had done and how much of a better position that they are in and all that, then my question was, well, then why'd you fire him then? You love him that much. Why'd you let him go?
Bingo. And dude, I was listening because I was online listening to the presser. And I text one of our colleagues and I said, did he not? No, the question was, did you view David Culley as a long-term solution when you hired him as a head coach? I'm going back and actually, I read the text, I read the transcripts, AJ. I just got to going back and looking at the whole press conference, and I had to, and I want to just make sure. I want to make sure I heard him right. I want to make sure he was quoted right. And he quote, "We hired David because we thought he was the best fit for the Houston Texans organization at the time, and still feel that way." Why is he fired?
I don't get it. And that's why I say I feel like I needed a shower after that one. I feel like I was just in something I didn't want to be in. It's the McNair's organization. Mama McNair owns the team. Son runs the team. Son has given over running the team to Jack Easterby and Nick Caserio. Do what you want to do, but don't lie to us and don't tell us one thing so glowing that it opens up other unnecessary questions about why you decided to do something different with the organization that you have been given responsibility for.
Well, here's the thing that has gotten me. Now, he said that he's been entrusted to run this organization. If I'm and I'm just going back, and I just want to double check my facts. I went back. The Houston Texans paid Corn Ferry over almost $700,000, $667,000 for an executive search for a general manager. The two top tier candidates, one was Omar Khan, who's the vice president of football operation, and ESPN's Louis Riddick. Now, they were the top two of candidates that they had recommended to Cal McNair and the Houston Texans organization.
Yeah.
There's nowhere now that to this date, nobody has ever said Nick Caserio was part of that, was in the top 5, top 10, top 3. And I understand the fascination of wanting to go and sort of duplicate that organization, the success that organization has had and so forth. But I've been one of those. I've sort of been one of those outliers that say, okay, I applaud the New England Patriots. I applaud all those championships and those Super Bowl titles that they have. But one thing I've always stated: the team who have been able and when they were going for that perfect season,
mm-hmm.
and when that team that would, and all of a sudden the team that knocked them off, the New York Giants, they got my attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got my attention, and they've got my attention twice.
Yep, they did it twice.
They did it to them twice.
Yep, in their prime. They didn't beat an ailing or an aging New England team. They beat the unbeatable twice in their prime.
Yeah. And so my attitude has always been, even to this very moment, and I'll still advocate for him. No, we are, and I'll state up front. No, I'm not a close associate of Jerry Reese. I look at what he produced. I looked at what he assembled. And any time that you walk in there on a game, and they know what to say, any given Sunday, well, on those two particular Sundays, that the New York Giants faced off against the New England Patriots, and one of them when they were going for a perfect season.
New England wasn't good enough.
No, they were not. So I still take my hat off to Jerry Reese, and to this day, I'm still trying to figure out why is Jerry Reese in Tennessee. Nobody's looking at him, but yet the Texans have gone back, and they suffered. They withstood with a threat of a fine and everything else, a lawsuit. If it were for tampering lawsuit with Nick Caserio, somebody has been just totally enamored with Nick Caserio, and I'm sitting there going like, and it was something today that caught my fancy. Well, in my last 18 plus years of where I've been, this is my training and everything. Well, if that's the only environment that you have been in, then does that mean that you got an actual world environment? I don't see it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it that the fact that, okay, now that you got a chance to, you were given the keys to the car. Now, before you weren't given the keys to the car, because everybody knows in the National Football League, Bill Belichick makes that final decision. Period. There's no ambiguity about who makes the final decision. Yeah. He has a lot of, and he has a lot of uniqueness ways about how he goes about and getting input and the players that he evaluates and how he evaluates them and so forth. But there's no doubt in nobody's mind. The bottom line and for the New England Patriots is what? Bill Belichick. Okay. That same Bill Belichick that when he was in the Cleveland Browns, everybody just went like mumbles. Okay, he was mumbles when he was with the Cleveland Browns. And because how I know, because I covered him. I was in the Astrodome underneath in the locker room trying to figure out everybody. Bill, could you speak up? I mean, Bill is still the same way today.
Right.
He just has now championships, and everybody just sort of go put that's just Bill being Bill. Okay, all right, Bill being Bill, but see, Bill has cachet now.
Right.
And when you have cachet, you can get around. I can still be mumbles.
Right.
But I'm like you, AJ. I'm going like, so if anybody thinks that Caserio, Jack Esterby, do you feel like that they have the wherewithal that they can make this franchise turn around? Because if you bring another coach in here, and if it's Gerard Mayo, you know what, as far as I'm concerned, just because you replace him, that still does not excuse the way that to me, it was a disrespect the way you did David Culley, because you hung this man out there.
Right. They could have made this decision Sunday evening. They could have made this decision Monday. They could have made this decision, sooner than they did. And somebody asked the question, thoughts on the Texans firing Tim Kelly. Tim Kelly was an experiment when he got the job. Tim Kelly was somebody that Bill O'Brien could still call the offense without calling the offense. And he has not proven over multiple seasons that he has the success as a play caller. So I'm less concerned about Tim Kelly than I am about Coach David Culley. And again, I got to bring this up, the culture difference with our journalists in this country. I saw that Tim Kelly, the Texans parted ways with him, but they fired David Culley. So Tim Kelly, they parted ways with. David Culley got fired. I'm tired of all of the one culture, primary culture, being the ones writing our stories. Both of them got fired. One of them should have gotten fired. The other one should still have a job today.
Well, one thing about it, and I think conversations we've had in the during the course of a game and just sitting around doing we all thought that, hey, at least he's got a good contract that's going to add to his retirement. If he decides to go ahead and retire, so be it. But I mean, to me. I'm sort of reminded of being out there in Sweetwater, Texas, when they had rattlesnake roundup, and they got those big old guys is out there in the field, and they put those big long snake bite panels on their pants because when they're out there in the brush because one of them big nasty Diamondbacks. To me, that's what David Culley was for Nick Casarios and Jack Esterby.
Yeah.
He took all the slings and the arrows.
Yeah. Yeah. With a smile, with a great attitude, with the right spirit, as we say in church. So let me say this then. If David Culley and Nick Caserio had philosophical differences, so be it. It's done.
Yeah.
But what does not change is Nick Caserio put this team together. Nick Caserio put that roster together. Nick Caserio put that coaching staff together.
Yep.
So, all right, that's fine. You'll get this one, but whoever they bring in, you better get this one right. If you don't get this one right, you as a general manager and you as whatever Jack Easterby's title is, I call him the Pope of the team, y'all got a track record of getting it wrong. If they don't get this next one right, they've got a track record of getting it wrong.
Well, the thing about it, AJ, do you have a scintilla of confidence that they can get it right?
No, that's why I said I felt lied to today. I felt dirty. I felt like I was in some kind of I don't want to call it a drug deal, but I was in some kind of mafia deal gone wrong. I'm serious, man. It was like, why you gotta lie? Like just say you wanted to do what you did. Hey, he was a good dude, but we decided to go in a different direction. This old philosophical difference. And I like Matt Musil's question. Matt said, how are you going to turn this thing around? The morale around the Texans is lower than it's ever been since the Oilers fired Bum Phillips. Those are facts. How you going to get this city to trust that you can turn it around? And that little canned answer, that little corporate shoe tap dance that he did, bruh, we beyond that. Dancing ain't gonna get it done.
No, well, here's the thing about it. I was sitting there, I thought about it. I wanted to just I said, Nick, you need my copy of Megatrend. I'm willing to offer you my copy. Jack, this is a John Nesbitt, and this book from Megatrend. I want to offer him because he was up here talking about Google, Chase, and all, so I want to offer Casarios my copy of Megatrend because I think you need to go back because that was nice. You throwing out all these nice corporate and so forth. Well, let me put it like this: Google outpaced because everybody knows anything about it in the last 10 to 15 years. Yahoo was the main primary search engine.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Google has destroyed and displaced Yahoo.
Yep.
Chase Bank, and let's face it, Chase Bank was the one that assumed Texas Commerce Bank here.
Right.
A lot of folks may not realize that.
I was gonna say Chase Bank bought their way to where they are. They bought their way to where. I'm a former banker, so I can tell you the facts, the history, and where some of the bodies are buried. So yeah, go ahead.
So the deal is, that's nice. You threw Chase Bank out there, but I guarantee you one thing: at this point right now, here's the thing about it. Would you rather be Jimmy Diamond at Chase Bank, or would you rather be the CEO of Wells Fargo?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay,
I got you.
So and so the question, and I'm going to turn that question on his head. What legitimate coach really wants? Legitimate. And we're gonna go since everybody said that. We've had some of our colleagues say that he didn't deserve to be in here and all this other stuff and all that. He was, he didn't have the wherewithal.
Some of our colleagues have jobs that they don't deserve. Some of our colleagues got jobs that they were not qualified for. So stop with that. Stop with that. I will admit that when they said the name David Culley, I had never heard that name before, before they mentioned it. When I did the research, first black quarterback at Vanderbilt and all the other legacy and history that he had in the NFL. Great, so be it. This is the man that got the job. But then to go back and rewrite history and say he didn't deserve the job anyway, and you're sitting in a job that you barely have the credentials to have, and you're writing stories as if you had the credentials to write it. I'm not doing that no, we're not.
No. In other words, man, like I say, I don't see a whole bunch of Pulitzer prizes behind your name.
In other words, and just because you got a check, don't mean you know what you're doing. I'm just saying.
Because and be right now, and I'll be quite candid with you. And AJ, and I'm wanting, I know we can wrap this up because I think folks talking sports about want to come
right,
on.
That's right. They do got to come on.
Yeah,
but let's answer this question: what legit coach would want to be the head coach of this? None, and that's why there's no guarantee that Brian Flores is going to come here. He can go to Chicago and be in control. He can go to the Giants and be in control. He can go. Right. So if I'm Josh McDaniels, I'm not answering to Nick Caserio. You don't need to be on my headset. I call the plays, and I don't need you telling me down and distance. So I get now why Josh McDaniels wants to be tied to Louis Riddick and not to his friend Nick Caserio. So they're going to have to get a Gerard Mayo. They're going to have to get a Joe Judge. They're going to have to get someone who will allow them to do what it is that they like to do, because the Brian Floreses, the Josh McDaniels, and even Doug Peterson, even Jim Caldwell, even Marvin Lewis, Doc, they got more legitimate street cred than Nick Caserio and Jack Easterby combined times a few.
And here's the other issues. Will they keep Lovie Smith around? Because the question becomes, if Flores comes in here, Flores likes to run his own defense.
Right. If Lovie and Flores can coexist, they could set up a defense in here that could be deadly. But if I'm Lovie Smith, man, I take the road of Zach Cunningham. I take the road of J.J. Watt. I take the road of DeAndre Hopkins. I go somewhere where I can be who I know I can be, as opposed to try to mold myself and dumb myself down to be who these people want me to be.
Yep. Well, hey, AJ, I appreciate it. Well, like I say, I know folk, Chris, and them getting ready to come in for folks when people talking sports. I appreciate you. I know, tell folks you got a return engagement. We're gonna try to figure out Sunday afternoon. We're gonna sit down and kick it around. We'll get back to the stuff on the field. Yep. As opposed to the minutia and the diminution off the field.
Absolutely.
That title as the Houston Texans. But without further ado, man, hey, man, I appreciate you, man. As always, take care of the family, take care of everybody. And always, man, be blessed, my brother.
You too, man. Thanks again. Appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, we take care. Chris, as we get ready to turn this over to you, people talking sports. I just want to say, hey, appreciate it. Thanks for everything. And we'll be back on Sunday afternoon. There's a smorgasbord of NFL football this weekend, man. So
hey, if you want for Sunday to go, let's see. The Rockets got a game at 5 Sunday against Sacramento again. They play the Kings tonight as well.
Yeah.
But if you want to, just let me know. We'll make it work.
Oh yeah,
we need to work on our expansion of this platform anyway. So let's make it happen.
We'll make it happen. So without further ado, folks, this is your man, Adolphus AD Moore, wishing you peace. Ciao. We are out.